Everyone is broke, and I want to make this video explaining why without coming across as arrogant or disrespectful. I'll get to why I think the majority of people are broke in a second. But first I want to say, hey, I'm JP, I'm 32 years old, I'm an entrepreneur, I've been living out of the matrix for the past 10-ish years. Now I'm not fucking a squillionaire or anything like that. I'm not claiming to be a genius, I'm not claiming to be anyone special. But what I do want is to share my thoughts on what escaping the conventional ways of making money and the conventional ways of thinking and escaping the financial burden that most people carry with them every single day, and how that's enabled me to have more freedom of mindset, of energy, of resources, not having to spend hours, days, months thinking about financial decisions. It's a cheat code, and I've been able to experience it since I was 22 when I came across what we do teach now as a business, which is match betting. This is not a promo for match betting or anything like that. If you want to learn more about it, that's obviously what we teach for a living. We've done that for 5 years. We have 1,650 members. However, I want to talk today about the reason why I think people are broke. And I've spoken about this in other videos. There's an analogy that I like to use, which is picture yourself as someone who is on a building, and let's just say you're starting on the ground floor. Everyone starts on the ground floor when they start out. Yes, some people are given money and whatever, but let's just say the average person starts on the ground, ground zero. And the analogy I want to use is that pretend there's a tidal wave, a massive wave that's coming, and that wave is inflation. It's your expenses. And every single week, the water from that wave goes up one level, and it never goes down. It just keeps going up. Every week, one level, the water goes up. And every week you get paid. And eventually you'll start to work out whether you're going up a level or 2 levels or 10 levels based on how far away the water's getting. If you haven't worked it out already, the gap between the water and how high you are in the building, the analogy I want to use there is your savings account. How much you are actually saving. How much are you spending? How much are you earning? And although this might sound like the most obvious thing, and I'm going to go into why people don't have a lot of savings, the most obvious thing is that they aren't earning enough compared to their expenses. Now, obviously you can look at people's expenses and you can look at their income and you can make changes to either of those things. However, what I want to talk about is the fact that your expenses cannot be reduced to zero. So why is that relevant? Well, if your expenses cannot be reduced to zero, then you have to do one of two things. You either have to be someone who just cuts out every single possible minuscule expense in your life, or you learn how to make more money. Now, the second option is harder to do than the first option, because most people who are making 65K a year median salary, 108K a year average salary, the average person doesn't know how to just go and double their salary. They don't have the skills, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the experience. Some people don't have the IQ, some people have intellectual disabilities and all sorts of problems like that. But let's just talk about the average human who doesn't have a disability or anything like that. And if you go and tell someone who works a 9 to 5 who's making 70K a year, they're not going to just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to go and earn 120K a year. That's really hard for people to do because they don't know how to do it. The first instinct is to just save. And when inflation happens and when things go up, the first instinct is to just save. Try to hoard as much as you can, try to avoid spending more money. And what that does is it actually puts you in a really dangerous category because you're essentially just a slave. You're just at the mercy of inflation. So if things go up tomorrow and double, you're done. You're done because you can't make more money. You cannot physically go and make more money. You don't know how to. You have no skill, you have no experience, you have no knowledge on how to do that. And yes, you can go and learn it, but it takes time. And that's why people don't do it. Because most people don't have the time, energy, and resources to work for free because they have to survive. When you have $500 to your name in savings and you have to pay rent the next month, your gap is like the same. The water's just there. You can't get above the water level. Go up one level, bang, water comes up next week. Go up one level, water comes up. It's just following you the whole time. And the only way you can escape this, in my opinion, is by just knowing how to make more money. It's very easy to just say that. And most people, when I say this on TikTok and stuff like that, they just like attack. Oh yeah, it's easy to just say make more money, but how the fuck do you do that? I don't have time, I don't know how to do it. Like, it's just like that's the mindset, that's the reaction of people. But it's genuinely the only way to beat it, because when you can suddenly go from 70K income to 100 to 120, 150, 200, all of a sudden your expenses won't matter as much anymore because they're so far away. They're in the fucking rearview mirror. You need binoculars to actually see where the water is of the expenses. Remember the rising flood water at the start, rising tidal wave water. You're now on level 100 of the building and the water level's at level 50. You don't care about your expenses anymore. It's not to mean that you're negligent or you're destructive or you're reckless with your money, but because you learn skills to make more money, all of a sudden you don't think about expenses anymore. And then when you have to go overseas, or your mate wants to go overseas with you, or you want to take your missus on a holiday, you don't even have to think about your decision anymore. Like last night, I don't want to brag, but like last night I launched like 8K on like 6 nights of accommodation in Seychelles and Madagascar. And it's really cool to be able to do that. I can just like open up a fucking website, click a button and just launch fucking 8K for 6 nights of accommodation. It's actually, I think 5 nights of accommodation. But that's what people will hate hearing, because it's like, whoa, 8K, like that's like 2 months salary for me. But it's like, yeah, man, but like I was able to escape this, and now like 65K a year, I fully can't understand how anyone can even get close to living on that. Like I don't understand it. Fully, I don't understand how you can live on that. And that might be really insensitive for me to say this, but that's just a reality. Once you escape this part of the world where you don't care about money anymore because you know how to make it, it's just a different world. And you forget that people don't know this, but that's just a reality. It's like I made 300K off match betting from the age of 22 to 28. And although that's not a lot of money in the match betting space, it was a lot of money at that age. And I spent the majority of that on travel. But it's what I learned that enabled me now to go and do other things and to understand how the world of finance works and the world of supply and demand and the world of business now. I've just learned by default by just being able to throw shit at a wall and hit a little bit of a gold mine in the business that I run now, because I had the financial freedom and the war chest that I'd accumulated by making money more than my expenses through my 20s. I was able to go and spend 6 months not earning a dime, putting together content, making a business, putting together social media content, YouTube videos, course content for free, because I don't need to get paid in the short term, because I'm not in this survival world, because I have so much money accrued from making way more than my expenses. I'm convinced it's the only way to get ahead. Now, there will be people out there who say, yeah, what if you give a massive income to someone who has a spending problem? Of course, people out there that just fully blow their wage no matter how much they earn, those people have a poor relationship with money. They don't know how to manage their money, and they just will blow any cent you give them. Those people obviously need to sort out their expenses first before they start earning more income. Because if you give more income, they just waste it on whatever it is, gambling, drugs, alcohol. Who else? Who knows what else people spend their money on? But if you've watched this and you are struggling right now, I don't want you to hate this type of content. I want you to think. I want you to be like, all right, cool. This guy's got a point. It's just math. Yes, maybe I sound a little bit triggering, but I don't care, because I want you to think. I want you to get triggered. I want you to then act from the trigger if this does trigger you. If you're someone who's already on my side and you're already earning money, give me your experience in the comments. Tell me how you've been able to escape the 9-to-5 matrix grind. Tell me how you've been able to escape the building and the water level getting above you. Tell me how you've been able to escape inflation. Tell me what you've done, because I will stand by this. Right now in 2025, if you have connection to the internet and a mobile phone and a set of fingers and you're not printing money, you are doing something wrong in your spare time, because there's so much shit out there that you can be making money off. You literally have to be walking around without any eyes or ears. And I mean that with the fullest respect. And yes, of course, you're not going to do it overnight, but all you need to do is spend 10 to 20 hours a week in your spare time learning new skills. And after 3 months, you will be a person who has new skills under your belt. And if you do this for 12 months, you'll be a completely different person. And then you'll be in this position now, I promise you, where you won't worry about your expenses anymore, because you've escaped it. You've put the work in, you've been consistent, you've done something for 12 months, and now you realize, fuck yeah, he's right. It's actually easy to make money, and it's actually really hard to watch people who are just broke all the time, barely surviving because they simply don't know what to do. And yeah, it's a tough watch, but it is pretty much the norm these days that people just get hammered every weekend, escaping their reality on a Friday night, regretting it all on Sunday after they go out again on Saturday night, doing it all again the next week, hungover on Monday, Tuesday they feel like shit, Wednesday, they're starting to get over it. Thursday, they're looking forward to it. Friday, they do it all again. Just repeat the cycle. And then after fucking 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're just like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And hopefully this wakes one person up. Because if it does, fantastic. I'll keep posting these videos so that more and more people can get help. If you want to follow along, I've been a little bit slack on the content over the past week or so. But I've deliberately done this because I feel like I was spending too much time on my personal brand and the business was suffering a little bit. So I've been neglecting my personal side of things, being a bit more patient. I want to win first. And that's another topic that I'll speak about in another day. But essentially what I'm saying here is that I don't feel like I'm anywhere near where I want to be yet. And potentially trying to encourage people to listen to me is hard because I drive a Honda Civic and I look like a bum. And it's like, yeah, cool, I could buy a new car and then have this like image of being successful if I wanted to. And I am successful, but it's like, I can't be fucked changing that just yet. So maybe I'll just win for another couple of years, lay off on the rah advice content and just try to be a little bit more relaxed and tell people what I'm doing at the moment with my life and in my business and how it's all going and the things I'm working on and the problems I'm solving. And maybe that will be a winner. So if you do watch this content and you found this shit interesting, please let me know. What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? What do you want to know about? I'm more than happy to do it. I'll do one long form a week. Most of the time though when I'm driving, I can't be fucked and I don't have the time and the mental fortitude to set up a camera in my house just yet. And film things with a bit of intention. I probably should, but I don't yet. These are just kind of turn camera on, send to editor, he edits them, post it every Sunday. So if you want to follow along, go for it. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think we're about to hit 200 subscribers, which is a tiny amount on YouTube, but we're getting there. 200 subs. Yeah. Hope it helps. Cheers.